Hey guys, and welcome to the Natty Blueprint podcast. This is episode 2. We're joined by a very special guest today who's dressed his room for the occasion, as you can see in the background with his trophies and a big picture of himself. Kris CC on Instagram. Kris is a natural bodybuilder in the southeast. He competed in 2024, early 2024, wasn't it, Kris? Like
Yeah, so
May June
literally all the
shows.
first shows, yeah, all the first ones.
Yeah, he's got multiple class wins. Obviously, he's got a sword in the background as well, the Golden Era sword. So he's a very prestige natural bodybuilder in the southeast. So I thought it'd be good for us to get him on today. Kris, how you doing, man? Do you want to give us a little bit of an introduction on yourself? You know, who are you, what you do for a living, etc., and we'll go from there.
I am wicked. Thank you for having me on. Just for the record, I was actually bought that as a gift. Okay, so I didn't buy it myself, but I probably would have.
They could have made
Yeah,
it a little
so
bit bigger.
yeah, that was the only issue. I just think I
Yeah,
wanted it to
Chris
take
is
up the
actually
whole.
3 foot in person as well.
Yeah, I'm a natural bodybuilder. I suppose I'm actually a bodybuilder now. I've been training 12, 13 years. I absolutely love the sport, and yeah, I've been doing coaching now for full time for around 3 years. Um, that's pretty much about me. That's the baseline. I'm sure as you guys ask questions, you're going to actually get into the depths of the ins and outs. I won't
Yeah.
bore people too much of an
I, I,
introduction.
sup- I suppose my question to you is like, first of all, is how did you get into bodybuilding? So I think you came through the powerlifting route, didn't you? And then you moved over to bodybuilding.
Yeah, so I was doing kind of powerlifting, and then LRF did like a 10-week shred, and always wanted to be lean. So did that, and that was kind of my introduction into bodybuilding training. Um, but that didn't end well because I did 10 weeks, lost 12 kilos, went to Zanti, gained 14 kilos in a week. And I came,
Nice.
I'm not even joking either, I came back, right? And I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like, 'cause
Gee,
I remember people telling me, they were like, oh, you got to be careful, you'll gain body fat quick. And I was just like, there's no way you're going to like do that damage that quick. And I genuinely, by day 3, I went out looking sick. And people by day 3 were like, Kris, where's your abs gone? And I was like, what do you mean? And I was looking in the mirror and I was just like, why do I look so much different? And then by the end, I swear to God, my face was like round as hell. My ankles were hurting to walk. And I was like walking, I was like, I was like trying to down more alcohol. And I was just like, yeah, it wasn't
Dry
a
out,
good
bro.
day.
Dry out.
No,
yeah,
honestly, that was my first experience of a rebound. And yeah, it's never been bad since, to be fair.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
then
that was hard, man. Like 10 weeks where I killed myself as well. Like, I pushed myself hard. I think I was doing like 45 minutes on the stairs. Bear in mind, I've gone from like powerlifting to eating, at the time, I was eating as much as I could, just training hard, to like pretty low calories, probably like not stupidly low, but like this was just a recreational cut, right? Probably like 2,000 calories. Um, at its lowest, and 45 minutes cardio. Was doing like maybe 5 times a week. That was hard at the time, when you've never done any kind of diet adherence. And to lose that all within a week was painful, mate. When I got back home, that was really questioned a lot. But I think, like everything does, I remember you guys talking in your last few podcasts, like post show, people struggle with it so much. Or post something, it's just like, who am I? What do I want to do? Do I want to do
yeah,
CrossFit? Do I want to do
Who's
running?
yeah.
who's got the post-show PB out of us three? I gained, I think my first show after my first season, I gained 10 pounds in a week, which actually isn't that bad now because I don't know what you guys have gained. What did you guys gain after your?
I
Denny,
think
you can say.
after the prep, I think I put on like 9, 10 pounds pretty quickly, but it
Yeah.
never shot up crazy, crazy. But it
I
was,
actually have to give myself credit. Like post show, I was just like, I have to fucking nail this.
yeah,
And
you stayed very lean for a long time as well. I remember you saying
I
like your legs
probably took
stayed.
it even a little bit slow, to be honest, looking back on it. Like, if anything, I could have done with just getting a bit fatter quicker and letting health come back quicker, training performance come back quicker, like mental well-being come back quicker. Like, I was still food focused like for too long probably, and now
Yeah.
looking at that amount of it, what I'd want to actually do to my clients, and that wasn't because of Joe, that was because of me. To be honest,
You
I
had a
was
holiday, didn't you? You were
I had
going
a
on
few
holiday, yeah.
holidays and stuff, and I was just like, I want to stay in shape with them. Yeah, I wasn't willing to let go of that lean guy yet. So this year, yeah, like I think like a month up, and I was only like 3 kilos up,
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Do you think
like,
a lot of that was obviously because you said when you went done that 10-week shred? Do you think that was in the back of your mind, like you didn't want to just completely balloon up again?
I think I knew, how much damage can be done quick after that. So I've never let myself go too mental. Um,
Yeah.
so in everything that happens is always a blessing in disguise, I think, and I can say that about everything in my bodybuilding journey, whether that's that I can let a client do something better because I've done it wrong, or like when you've been doing it as long as all of us, I've made so many fucking mistakes. I've done things
Yeah.
so stupid so many times, and that's the only reason why I can help people get to their goal quicker. It's because I've
Yeah.
done it wrong so many times. So just don't do what I did. Yeah, where I gained Zanti, like genuinely, like at the time, I was almost scared for my health a little bit. Like I don't think people realize how much weight that is. Like
Yeah.
It's a
literally, it
lot of
was
weight
like
to
I
put on
think
your
it was like
body.
13 kilos. Like I remember taking my socks off, and I had socks marks for like
Yeah.
for so long, and I was like, I felt like my breathing was heavy. Like I felt like shit, and after that, I was like, yeah, that obviously is in the back of my mind that I don't want that to happen ever again. Um, so yeah, I think post show I actually did okay this time. So I think unless I've got the record for Zanti, then maybe it's Max. I don't know.
I've got it. To be fair, I was 19 and I was a little bit immature with it, coming out of post show in my first prep. Like to be fair, even after my first show, so I did two shows, but back to back weekends. And my coach at the time said, "You can have whatever you want," and I was like, "Really? All right, fair." So we went out for dinner, and I ate my best mate Nath, who was with me. I ate his meal because he was having like eating problems at that time, so he couldn't finish a meal. So I had my pizza, his meal. My mum didn't finish her pasta, so I finished her pasta. I think I had a box of Pop Tarts, and then I went to bed just in agony. But weirdly enough, I only gained like 4 or 5 pounds from that. So I pulled that off within a couple of days, and then by the next show, I was a new low weight anyway. But
How
yeah,
long between your shows?
it was just a week.
Yeah, that's mental. That's such a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
No,
it was great. But like my coach just said to me, "Have whatever you want." I was like,
Yeah,
you
"Sound."
must have been
I bet
so
you was full as a
flat
house
after that
though.
show.
Yeah, I was. I felt so good.
Yeah,
It was
I
nice.
think post show is actually a really good topic to be honest. Like the it's very I think everyone experiences something different. Like I think most people struggle immediately post show. Um, but just talking openly, I don't think I got that. Mine was actually like delayed, to be honest. Like I felt my post show was only 3 months or so later, and it was just like I almost felt like a handed post show. I handled it well. I'm like in my mind, I was like, I've got prep, I've got a kill prep, did prep. I've got post show, I've got kill post show, did post show, and then it's like off season. It's like, oh,
Now what?
now I just do this for years, do I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
And
just
it's
leaves you in like no man's land, doesn't it? Like you're like, now what?
yeah, like and I still love what I do and enjoy it, but at one point I was just like literally just rolling off of more commitment than anything else. I was going in the gym, I wasn't enjoying it, like, and I was just doing it, and I was still doing it well, but I was like, this sucks at the moment, but I know it's going to be worth it. Do you know what I mean? And I think
yeah,
that was the hard bit for me. It was just like doing stuff when you didn't want to, almost months later, rather than initial.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like people take that kind of tunnel vision into their off season straight away from the back of prep
Mm,
when they don't actually realize that they've got to kind of do a little bit of a recovery period prior.
massively, massively.
And I think the first thing, like what you should do, like as an athlete or as a coach, is when the client comes out of prep or when you come out of prep, is actually implement some flexibility from the get go. Because if you don't, you either have terrible adherence because you can't adhere to just being fully 100%, or you go into this fully 100% where you don't have any flexibility throughout your whole off season, and then you'll go down the route that I went down in 2019 to 2022, where you're just like 1,000% have zero flexibility at all, and then in the long term you kind of suffer from that. Um, so
Massively.
there's a fine balance for sure.
Yeah, I remember on your podcast, you was talking about like off seasons for living, man. Like you've always got to tick the boxes and do well, but like if you're not gonna have a bit of flexibility in the off season, and what the fuck are you doing it for? Like in
Yeah.
my mind, like whoever knows me, I will never be a die-hard bodybuilder. Like I love bodybuilding, I love training, but if that meant, I couldn't live the life the way I wanted to, like majority of the year, then I'm not doing it, man.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be the best bodybuilder in the world, and nor do I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world because I wouldn't want to do what you have to do for it. Like, I'm not willing to do that. Just being completely honest.
Yeah, this is what we were kind of talking about in the last podcast is like at the end of the day, we're amateur bodybuilders, and unless we're trying to be like the best in the world or we're like trying to turn pro with the IFBB and get on the Olympia stage, like there should be an element of flexibility because
You're
if
literally
there's
doing it
not,
for
it's
fun,
you're just
right?
going to struggle.
Yeah, it's like we do it
As
because
hard as
we
it
enjoy
is.
it. Like,
Yeah.
why would you? Obviously, there are extremes to it, but if we enjoy it, like, why go to the point where you start hating every other aspect of your life? So,
Don't you think that's such an interesting thing with prep? Because I always have this, like, no matter how hard it was and no matter how many things it affected, I've got such a craving to do it again in the future. And I have no
Yeah.
idea why, because it sucked. It
Yeah.
sucked. Like, I'll just be open and honest. I tell my clients, like, until you do it, people tell you stuff and you don't accept it. Like Joe, I remember jumping on the call with Joe, and Joe was like, "It's going to come to a point where training is going to be your least favorite thing to do in the day." I was telling me all these things, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." Didn't believe him.
yeah,
And then by the time I got like 4 or 5 weeks out, he was right. Training, I literally love training, but it got to the point where I would rather do anything but train. Like it was so hard,
yeah,
and like I don't think people really open themselves up to it. Like I'm especially someone, I don't know why, maybe like I try to carry my mindset high. Like I like to think, yeah, I can do it. I can do this and that. Like numb it out, but it will get you. It doesn't matter who you are. All these things will happen to you. Like if it happens to everyone else, it happens to you. And it's just so mental that like you're going again next year or this year.
yeah.
Then
Like, if I talk, if I was to have this conversation now when I was in that situation, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not
I
doing that
know,
ever again.
yeah, it's great. But
And then here I am.
why do we want to do it? What I like. It's just something so crazy that it's so hard and it really gives, as amateur bodybuilders, it doesn't give you a lot, but there's something about it that just makes you want to do it, right? It
Yeah,
must just be the dedication and
I
knowing
think
you're
it
doing
is,
something
yeah.
so hard.
I think it is the dedication. I also think it's like, for me, it's that challenge of putting myself through it and being like, and coming out the other end of it and going, look what I just did. Regardless of like the placing or whatever, it is still like, look what I achieved. I've dedicated 9 months or however long to this prep, and you know, I've completed it, and I think that's kind of the addiction really, and just getting better, isn't it? Like we all just want to get better over time.
yeah.
Um,
I
It's
think
the same
it's
with
the
training as well. Like, training in itself kind of sucks in a way, doesn't it? But we enjoy it. So to people that aren't in bodybuilding as well, or into gym training, they probably look at us and be like, why do they put themselves through that every day? Like they wake up the next day, they're sore, things hurt, they spend money doing it, but it's kind of like the same thing. It's just that extreme end of it.
yeah,
I think it's the die-hard tunnel vision that gives you purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I think is for me. 'Cause it's like every day, and obviously you guys know Rufus. Rufus fucking loved prep. Like I've never known someone to love. Like he literally loved it. Like if he could do prep again now, like he would do it. But obviously that's not ideal for his situation. And it's because it gave him so much direction. He was like, at this time I'm doing this, at this time I'm doing this, then I do this, then I do this. And when you do that, like you do thrive. If
Yeah.
you apply that to anything else in your life, it's going to be successful. You apply that to your job, you'll probably make 6 figures. If you apply that to a relationship, you're going to have a really great relationship. Apply that to a friendship, anything. And
Yeah.
I think that's the amazing thing about bodybuilding is I think it actually for you guys can probably speak from this as well. It's like being a coach isn't necessarily about the transformation there, the transformation in the life. Like people do these things to make their mental health better or whatever, and their physique better to make them feel happier. But then they realize, shit, when I do work hard and I'm accountable and I have a plan, I get results. And if I apply that to these things in my life, then I do as well. And that's why like a
Yeah.
lot of my clients, they end up, getting promotions, end up going self-employed, end up doing this, end up doing that. And it is true. It's sort of like a rolling effect, isn't it? And that's
yeah,
the most rewarding thing about it all, I think.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You
Something that
get
I
these
do.
like
Cool.
messages. Sorry, mate. You get
Cool.
these like messages from your clients, and you're like, "Oh, this is like life-changing stuff," and it's not just from a physical aspect, it's also from that mental aspect as well. They've got that drive and determination. Like I remember when I came out of prep in 2019, like I had so much drive to just do better and do more. And it was, a month after I started my coaching business, and it was from there. It was just like, right, if I can apply the same thought process and adherence to like a prep to like my business or to my full-time job as well, I'm only going to be successful from that. So it is crazy.
Yeah, it is very special indeed. On that question, what would you guys say is actually the most rewarding thing about coaching? Like, would you say it is that?
For me, it would be changing people's sort of mindset on life. For
Mm,
example, I've got loads of different clients, different sort of walks of life, but it's
yeah,
seeing from where they start, whether that be mentally, physically, health markers, whatever it is, 6 months down the line, they're a completely different person. So kind of like what we was just talking about, like it changes more than how they look, and that's what I was going to say before Max rudely interrupted me. Was like a client might come to you, be like, "Oh, I want a six pack," or "I want this." I always say, "Why?
yeah,
Why do you want that? Is it
100%.
confidence? Is it confidence? Is it because I don't know, you pride yourself when you're getting changed in front of your partner or whatever it is? It's always deeper, and people
Yeah,
don't really realize that. And that's literally the question that I ask all the time. There's always that surface level thing that they want, and then they're like, "No, but why do you want that?" They give you
yeah,
that answer.
yeah.
You say why again, and then it just goes further
I
and further
think
down
I think
until you
that's
get to the real reason of why they're wanting to do it.
I think that's something super important to note, and I think if anyone could take anything away from this podcast, moving into January, everyone has these new resolutions and goals. Like Denny's hit the mark there. Like if you want to do something, you want to lose body fat, ask yourself why, and then ask yourself why again, and why and why, and eventually it's going to be the root cause. And it may be like Denny just said. When I was in school, I had to turn around when I took my top off in the changing room. That could be just that traumatic to you, and keep that in your mind. When things get hard, keep that in your mind. It might be you want to be able to pick your son up. You're too unfit to run around with your son. Those things is what's going to allow you to do it when it gets hard. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
I really
sure.
agree.
For sure. Yeah, it is just a whole rewarding process just being able to help people. I think like showing people what they're actually capable of, because I think nowadays a lot of people lack a little bit of that direction. Um,
Yeah,
and they don't know what they are capable of, and they see people achieving good things and they think, oh, that could never be me. And even if it is just dropping 15, 20 pounds of body fat, that does show them that they can do something if they put their mind to it. And I think you could put that probably down to the education system as well. Like people are not being educated and not achieving a lot early on in their lives, so then they're filled with self-doubt. And then they
massively.
they struggle to kind of keep their mind fixated on one thing, and being shown direction as well. um but yeah, like it is very rewarding coaching, and obviously you guys know, we've probably all had messages saying, oh, this process has been life changing, this has happened in my life, my relationships improved, I've done this, I've done that. So yeah, it is
Yeah.
super rewarding for
I
sure.
can imagine with you, Denny, as well. Like, if I'm correct, a lot of your clientele are like a very vast, like difference. Like you work
Yeah.
with like
So we
a
have a
lot.
lot of South Asians, a lot of women.
Yeah, like so it must be like
Yeah, so there's the cultural side of it as well, which I quite
mm,
enjoy.
yeah, that's
But
wicked.
but a good one because I've got quite a few female clients, or we've got a lot of female clients in the business. And one thing that comes up quite a lot is how many of the women fall pregnant after working with us. They're trying to get pregnant.
Oh wow, just because they're healthier, like
Yeah, and
everything,
it's not what
hormones are
we're trying
going.
to do, but just as a
Yeah, it's
result
crazy,
of
man.
they've
It's
lost
crazy.
some weight, they're healthier, they're eating better,
Hmm.
they're probably happier with their partner as well. So you know what happens there. And then 6, 7, 8 months down the line, they're like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I've fallen pregnant," and we're like, "Mission accomplished."
100%. Like
Yeah,
better diet, better eating habits,
yeah,
better exercise, and your fertility is going to be high.
exactly. Yeah,
Well, in
so
my case, my libido goes in the bin, so I won't worry about that. I drop
And that's
about 2 pounds, bro, and that's it. Nothing, nothing. I've
that.
gone for 6 months.
yeah, it sounds
That's
like there's some
that's
trauma there, bro.
no. That's another thing that we about prep boys. I don't get what's the right word about getting cancelled. How high your sex drive is if you're getting shredded, your girlfriend ain't gonna like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
Because you ain't getting it up, bro.
Yeah.
Or if you are, you're giving up halfway because it's too hard. It's hard
Yeah.
Too
work.
much energy.
Unless she
I've done my
wants to
stuff
put a
for the
shift
day. I
in,
can't do
then
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
that's
that's something I really struggle with. Like with my first prep is understanding that libido would take a hit
Mm,
and going like months with not getting
mm,
an erection or anything. And I was like,
mm.
what is going on? Like I'm
Yeah,
19 years old. I should be in a really good spot hormonally, and I think it probably is down to energy as well, more so than anything
Yeah.
else. But yeah, it is
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
yeah. I think again, this is a good topic to cover because, like, I've got nothing to hide. Like, I honestly will be open and honest about everything. Um, and your sex life, if you have got a partner, will suffer. So guys, or even girls, especially girls, if you get really lean, you're going to lose your cycle. Sex is going to be the last thing on your mind. So these are things that you do want to communicate with your partner. For me, like not getting up wasn't an issue, but it was just the want. There was no want.
Yeah.
It was just like people. My girlfriend could do whatever she wanted to me, and I would kind of want to, but you can't trick your brain to,
Yeah.
It's the
and that's
energy,
just the
isn't
way
it?
it's going to go, guys. I remember Joe told me that, and I was like, yeah, all right, that won't happen to me. Yep, happened to
Yeah.
me.
And then there's no emotion. You can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird, isn't
so
it? Like you kind of lose that kind of emotional attachment to that, and you just
Yeah.
I think it is the energy aspect. Like even though you
yeah,
want to,
100%.
it's like you just can't. Like you can't switch your brain to be in that kind of I don't know
Yeah,
horny
your
state. I
your body
suppose
is literally prioritizing, what it needs to, and
survival.
yeah, reproducing, and that is not its priority right there.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that goes down the
Yeah.
list.
It probably ties in with like training as well, because obviously it comes from like a masculine aggression. So probably when
Mm,
libido drops, your training aggression probably drops.
mm.
Everything else just kind of goes in the bin. I remember
Such a hard process,
I
man.
messaged
Such a
you,
hard
Max. I was
process.
like, I think we was talking about. I was like, this was quite early on as well. I was like, things aren't right. Like I've just got nothing in me
Yeah.
Yeah,
in terms of like wanting to do anything. So it was for me that was like never experienced that before. It's like okay, this is
No.
a bit strange. So
It's
yeah,
so good that you guys can communicate about that. Like, obviously, Max, you're prepping clients next year. Hopefully, they all watch this. When you guys have something going on, tell Max.
yeah,
He's been there. These things are normal. Don't feel like you're an anomaly. And even if you are going through something that other people won't, listen, think it's hard. So just speak and be honest. And the more Max knows about you, the better job he can do.
yeah. It's the same
just
with like all
on
clients. To be fair, like the
Yeah,
more we
yeah,
know about your life,
100%.
we will
yeah.
just be able to help you more. Whether you've got finance issues, work stressful, I don't know, whatever it is, just yeah, communicate.
And the likelihood is we've all been there at times. So,
Yeah,
we've all had times we haven't had that much money. We've all, had maybe traumatic things happen in our life in different ways. And I think it is just about being understanding and relatable, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Just going back to like the libido thing then, lads. How long did it take you guys to feel like you're in a normal spot from a hormone standpoint post prep?
So for me, not talking sex life, but actually like being me again,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
probably too long. Like, and I can give props to my partner for this because she would notice things that I wouldn't necessarily. And I was like, oh, okay, that is like old Kris again, like those kind of things that might not be on the surface, or probably around 4 months,
yeah,
honestly, which is probably too long. And like I said, I don't think if I could go back, and this might sound crazy to people, I probably would have got fatter quicker. Like, you need, I know that sounds crazy, people, and go, what are you on about? You want to stay as lean as you can for as long as you can. You don't. Like, post prep, man, you've got to gain that body fat back. Like, it is a recovery period. Like, you are in the bin, and you just want to get back healthy again. I'm not saying get stupidly fat, but I was probably like 3-4 kilos up for like 8-9 weeks post. That's not enough. It wasn't
yeah,
enough. I think for me, maybe it would be for someone else. For me, no. But yeah, so maybe like 4 months.
yeah. It's crazy, isn't
yeah,
it? How long it takes after
yeah.
like
I
you
think for
prep
me,
for it.
like it was about 2 months. To be
Yeah,
honest,
Yeah.
I felt
I think yours came back like
normal.
relatively quick for a
Yeah,
natural though. Like
yeah,
I've had clients where it's taken like up to 6 months, and
Yeah.
it's just been a very, very long process of kind of getting that back.
Mm.
Even when you kind of gain the body fat, you put them in a very low stress state in terms of like training and going through that kind of prolonged recovery phase post prep. It's just like it's still something that takes a while, and it is
Yeah.
very individual.
Yeah. I think like we just said, it is individual, and it is down to just getting back to like a because everyone's baseline body fat is different, right? Like some people will feel good, like some people can naturally be like 8%. They
Yeah,
could be that anomaly. Most people will sit like most guys like at a healthy standpoint probably around like 14-15% or whatever. So you just need to get back to whatever was like a good point for you, and the rate you do that in for everyone is different. But I think until you're kind of near that point, you're not ever gonna feel 100% again until you are, like, and that's just the reality of it.
yeah, yeah,
I think for me, because I just completely mentally switched off from training for a little bit. Like I didn't put any stress on it at all. I went away. It just helped so much just to
yeah.
like get my head screwed back on again, and then everything else just kind of falls into place after that.
Yeah, for sure. I think like a general rule of thumb as well is like post show is if you're in stage condition, like if you're
Mm.
peeled, get that £10 on fairly
Mm.
quickly. Like I would say anywhere between like 4 and 6 weeks. You don't want to put it on within a week like I did,
Yeah,
but you want to get it on pretty quick,
yeah, you do.
because it'll just put you in a better spot for sure. Anyway, Denny, should we get cracking with the questions, mate? Because we've got quite a few.
Again,
So
It's good.
Chris, you're gonna have a
so
few.
That's
Denny,
good,
you get
man.
cracking with
Wicked.
your ones, mate, and then I'll do the ones off the podcast.
so shout out to Chris's client. Is it Roshin?
Russian, my man,
Yeah,
Russian.
he's asked me
Shout
some.
out to him. 30
Yeah,
kilos loss.
yeah, he's looking wicked. He's looking wicked.
Mm.
So this goes down to, I guess, all of us. If you weren't a fitness coach, what career would you have chosen?
I tell you honestly, I'd be fucked right now. No, this is hard. So I'd kind of take you through. I've always wanted to work in fitness one way or another. I actually started personal training like at like 18, but I had no idea how to like market or do whatever. So it just didn't go right. So started off working in retail. I can be open and honest and say that is not what I'd be doing now. I did not enjoy that. Then I went into kind of like carpentry work. Still knew that wasn't the thing for me really. Did that for a little while. And then I worked on the railway, and I was doing the hard graft stuff, to be honest. Like some jobs on the railway are good. So, and then eventually, luckily, I managed to get into fitness, which I'll actually touch on quickly. I feel like I'm coming off topic, but I think I could have said this at the beginning. So, how I actually got into coaching. So, I was kind of coaching part time whilst working on the railway. And then COVID was going on during this time, so everyone just was just like, "Oh, I'm not doing this or that." Um, and so all I was doing was working on the railway. I was doing nothing else, and I was saving quite a lot of money. So it came to the point where all the rules just kind of starting to ease, and it was like just finishing Christmas, coming into a January, and I was just like, I'm going to give this a go full time now. I think I was making £700 from coaching. Okay, that's all I was making. Um, but I was like, I used that money to actually build a gym at my old house, which you guys might know about. And I had a good lump of money saved that if this goes tits up, I'm going to be fine for like a year. Um, but I knew coming out of COVID, everyone's in a pickle, mate. Like people are like putting a lot of weight, people's headspace aren't good. People are going to want like coaching. So I literally just binned off the railway in January, and I was earning about £700, and just thought I'm going to give this a go full time. And luckily, it all aligned, and here I am. So
No,
that's a little bit about how I got into it. But
That's cool because a lot of people wait till their like salary of coaching kind of matches their full-time job and then take the plunge. But with you, it was like, okay, I've saved up, I've got this kind of something to fall back on, but I'm just gonna go full steam ahead with what I want to do.
yeah,
Um,
I'm not going to say it was like a massive risk, because the guys on the railway just said, when it doesn't work, come back to us. They all laughed at me and said, we'll see you in 2 weeks, which was just funny. but yeah, like I had that money saved, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? You know, I've got a good family that would support me if I needed to, and luckily it all went right. But what would I still be doing? Honestly, don't know. Um, Probably the railway, maybe. Hopefully, a bit of a better job in the railway. If not, maybe something in sales. I think I'd like it. I'd maybe like that challenge. I don't know. I have no idea. Probably the railway, realistically.
Okay. For me, the same. I have no idea. I've done a bit of everything. I've done retail, done a little bit in construction, done some warehouse jobs. So
Mm,
out of all of them, that probably yield the best financial gain would probably be in construction. So like plumbing as well. I did a
yeah.
little bit of that. But yeah, I don't know. Like you, I've always wanted in some way. I didn't know it would be in online coaching,
Mm,
but it was always like I would love to do something in the fitness space because I've
mm.
always, well, I say always, since like 17, 18, I've just been like loving it. So the fact that I'm here doing it is quite a little cool end.
Massive,
Or
massive.
yeah, where you,
Yeah.
Max?
Mine would just be engineering, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
already
yeah,
a
I suppose
medical
you've
engineer
already
at the
got that.
moment, so it's I always wanted to be an engineer. Like both my grandparents were engineers, so from a very young age, it was like I want to be an engineer. And so I went to college and stuff for that, and then obviously competing very early on kind of drew me in the fitness space and the bodybuilding kind of space. But yeah, it'd definitely be just obviously driving forward within engineering. But yeah, I've kind of got the best of both worlds at the moment,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.
Do you feel like that could be a actual potential step back in the future, where you've almost got the best of both worlds that can split you?
Yeah, potentially. Like Denny asked me this in the last podcast, didn't you? Where it was
Yeah.
like, do you think you could just do full time of one? Um, like I enjoy both. Like a
Uh,
lot of people are in the unfortunate position that they don't like the job. They're like
mm,
9 to 5. I like my job,
mm.
and in a way, like I'm helping people as well. Making medical equipment, it's cool because I know that's going away and helping
Oh, so that's
people.
what it's medical equipment.
Yeah,
That's really
so
cool.
I know
So
what.
like massive. Actually, I'm not going to say that because I don't know what I'm
Yeah, I
allowed to
can't.
say. I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't say too much about like my workplace and what we actually like make and stuff.
So it's
But
dodgy, basically. You're one
hey,
of them.
dodgy.
Dodgy NHS
Yeah,
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
it's loads of test bottles and stuff like that. Um,
So it makes sense.
but no, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But at the moment, I'm obviously doing my degree, so it's a case of getting that done, and hopefully still continuing to enjoy both. But who knows? Who
How long
knows?
have you got left on that?
I finish in May, which
Oh,
is nice.
completely.
Um, so yeah, luckily
What was
I'll
it
finish
going?
in May, and then I'll probably only be in like 2 months into prep by then, so it'll be fine. I'll still
Would you
have
move
some
into a
course.
job after that, like straight away, or?
So basically, I'm in like a senior role at the moment, so I actually manage other engineers. And when I got this job in 2022, the kind of the agreement was is that you'll do this role, but we'll also put you through a degree. So I kind of obviously just snapped that up straight away, which was
Pretty
a good
sick.
opportunity. Um, any other questions, Denny?
Yes, we have. I mean, this one's more for you, Chris, because it only applies to you.
Okay.
Is biggest challenges of coaching clients online versus in person? Obviously, me and Max don't do any in person coaching.
Um, I think the only thing that you cannot deliver the same in person, and I don't really think it is completely up for debate, is just like execution. Like you can see someone doing something over a video and you can certainly make a massive difference, but like there's certain things that like you have to just be there, like when you've done it for as long as we have, you can tell where the elbow needs to be, where the hand needs to be. When you know the anatomy more, it's from one angle on a video, it's hard. But in person, you can literally be like, do that again, but think about this. And they're like, fuck that. I've never felt it like that. And you're like, because you're now training your chest,
Yeah,
It's
Do you know
because
what I
you're
mean?
there as they're doing it, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's
But
something.
that's
something that I say to my clients, like we'll do form feedback every week, for example, and I'll correct one thing one week. They
Mm,
send it the next week. There's then something else as a result of me changing something,
always,
and
yeah,
then needs rectifying, and then you're constantly almost like going back and back. Obviously, it does get better over time, but
absolutely.
to be there in person, you can pick up on them both at the same time.
Yeah, it's not taking value away from that because I think majority of people aren't doing stuff very good. Like just being completely honest and
Yeah.
just doing something with, um, you know, better tempos, better control, like everything at the right angles. That's pretty much going to get you there. But like the really 1-2% things, you can have someone in person, like I'm sure some of you guys do with your clients. Those are the little bits that add up, but they are more focused towards competitors or the the very lifestyle serious people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing I have to drive home is basically just intensity.
Yeah.
Mm,
Like a lot of the clients that are on my team know how to train already. Like they're not brand new to the gym, and they've
mm,
probably been doing it for a couple of years. So the main thing for me is like teaching intensity to them. Um, so yeah, but obviously being in person, like being able to train with them as well, like saying, look, join me for a session, we'll take you through it. There's always kind of a few things that we have to kind of iron over.
mm. I
Yeah.
think it's always crazy as well because it's just like, again, I keep going back to it. Like when you've done it for as long as I have, things just become like I can look at something and you can just say, you just need to do this and you're going to feel it more.
Yeah.
And they're like, mate, that is crazy. Like it could be something they've been doing for 5 years already. And I've never felt it like that. And it's just like, when
Yeah.
you've done that exercise 10,000 times or whatever it is, like you just know.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
natural to you, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. It's like that light bulb moment that they have. It's like, oh, why haven't I been doing this for so long?
It's so, I always just find it so funny because it's always the same thing with all the people. It's like, I just want you to do this. And their face is like, and I'm just like, it's just funny.
Yeah. I'll let someone else. I'll ask the next question if anyone wants.
Okay, I'll do it. Question from James Linford. It's another one of your clients, Kris, isn't it?
Yep.
What does Kris think helped him handle his prep the best?
Ooh, handle it. Rufus doing it.
Yeah, Rufus there with you.
Being
No,
honest, like I've got to give a massive shout out to that guy. Like, um, I know everyone goes through every prep's hard, but and I'm not gonna sit here making excuses, but I was definitely handed some of my biggest challenges in life and multiple of them, and for some reason they came towards the wrong time in prep. Like they could have been any other year. Um, and if Rufus wasn't competing and if I wasn't coaching Rufus, then it would have been easy to throw in the towel. But that was another reason why I was like, I cannot let him down. I've got to see it out. So yeah, I'm going to give credit to Rufus
I'll
for
rate that. I'll rate that.
I think
for
as well, that's actually a really good point. Is obviously we're all coaches who lead by the front, and then we take responsibility in that. Like I get drive from my clients, and when they send me training footage, and when they're dieting and they're getting results, I'm like, right, okay, I need to show them that I'm doing this as well.
yeah.
Obviously that's what happened within your prep. You're coaching Rufus, and you're like, well, I need to lead by the front. I need to do this,
He's
and
doing
it
this and
kept
he's
you
making it
going in
look
a way.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%, and that's so important, and I think gains that relatability. Like we're all normal humans, like we've all got these things, and that's why if you can build like we've all got our own teams, and I've got some really good athletes. I want to lead from the front, I want to be the best athlete for them, and when they're killing it, I've got to be killing it, and I
yeah,
really mean that as well. And I always want to be leading, so that means killing it a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to
for
do the
sure.
do.
Okay,
Definitely.
I've got a question from Dylan Chadwick. Big Dylan.
Big.
Um, can you talk through different natty feds and how each of them test if you're natty?
This one's
Yes.
you.
Is
Don't
that for
completely two
everyone
bros.
or yeah, no. So are you gonna I'll let you go if you want, Max. If this aimed at you or everyone.
I mean,
Um,
I've not really got the answer for it, so
yeah, I suppose, Chris, you can tell us a little bit about. I think you've competed with the UKFBA, WNBF,
I think I've done all of them.
PCA.
And then even Roger did two bros, didn't he?
Yeah,
So two
so
bros natties.
I'll go off what I know. Um, WNBF, they will urine sample and polygraph. UKFBA, I believe, urine sample. Um, Same with the BNBF
Oh yeah,
and
BNBF.
same with the PCA as well. But I think WNBF are the only ones who polygraph.
is that all athletes or just placing?
Um, so I think on the night of their British finals, the night before, they polygraph everyone because I had to go to Tom's polygraph with him when he competed with the WNBF in 2023. And we were sat there for hours. To be fair, it wasn't a nice experience, but
So with the UK DFB, I'm not actually sure, but you said that.
I
Um,
I know that they urine sample.
yeah, at least. Um, with PCA, they polygraph and urine sample. If you win your class, you definitely get urine sampled, and around 50% of the people that won their class also got polygraphed. And I believe, credit to them, they also did a few random ones if you just placed.
Nice.
And then obviously, if you win the overall, you definitely get polygraphed. WNBF, I think, or one of the top ones. I think if you even get if you win, you definitely get urine sampled. Even if you get a placing, you might get urine sampled. And they also did random polygraph testing, and they also do. I think only if you're a pro, it might not be, but they also do random polygraph testing throughout the year, so
Yeah.
even in off season.
Oh.
So that's pretty good by them. I know once you go like pro, the WNBF's like I think kind of leading or one of the leading ones in the natty
Yeah.
scene. Like I don't know if did you guys see who won like the WNBF Worlds?
No.
Like I don't know. Do you know how to open up the screen and put it on? Maybe we could do it at the end or not. But like natural bodybuilding, it's mental. Like
Yeah,
absolutely
isn't it?
mental. This guy is like out of this world.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
He's
the
like an
world.
IFBB pro, but he gave it up.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name.
just silly.
I was listening to a podcast with him on it actually.
Yeah, I know who you mean. He is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know about BNBF, and that's pretty much all of them, isn't it? But yeah, but natural bodybuilding, man, it's crazy. I love it. And
what about two bros, Chris?
oh yeah, and two bros. So Roger competed and he didn't get anything. I believe that the winner usually gets piss tested, and that is it. But I remember, you guys know Toby Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He obviously won his pro card naturally
Yeah.
with two bros. And I can't actually remember what he said, whether he did or didn't get piss tested. I don't want to shout it out on here and say he didn't. He might have just got piss tested, but it would have literally just been that on the day. But he might not have.
Yeah. I'm sure there's
But,
some instances where it does fall through the cracks.
I've
but
I've heard
it's
people,
stupid, mate.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that two bros have literally asked them, saying, "Are you natural?" And they've gone, "Yeah," and that's been the drug test.
Sure.
But their rules are different though. Like you only have to be natural for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
So it's just like
Yeah,
if you're
strange.
competing the two bros natural, like
Oh, you
just know
actually
you're in the mix, But you're probably not going to be doing that unless you're like really, really good. To be
Yeah.
honest,
I
like
do think though that they're implementing more stringent testing, especially with the IFBB going down this kind of naturals route. Like
yeah,
from what I'm seeing at the moment, there's going to be a natural league within the IFBB, and potentially, there'll be a natural Olympia one day, which will be absolutely awesome.
yeah,
So I think they'll be a lot more stringent with it as
yeah.
the
There's
kind of sport grows in that scene.
massively. They have, like I said, they've started to introduce all that. So I'm sure that's something they're going to look at. But for now, it's obviously the natural seed in the IFBB is limited, and obviously limited funding, which means limited drug testing, right?
Yeah.
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 I'm
I've got a
gonna
question for
Will-
myself
Will-
from
gonna
Will
go for a wee.
Bourne, the giveaway winner. Denny's gone for a
Legend.
wee again. He's decided to roast me, I think. He says, "How does Max plan on bringing up his chest?"
How do
1v1
you?
side chest me, bro.
You got quite good side chest.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. He obviously is a hater because Will Warner's got a very, very good chest, so
Has it?
he's just a hater. Anyway, this
My
is a good
side chest
question.
is awful, mate.
Yeah, my
Awful.
side chest isn't great. Got a question from Will Keeley. He's asked, how much of recovery is genetics?
What? Just should we take it like general recovery from training?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think obviously genetics does always come into play. Like some people are just going to be superior, but like whenever anyone talks about genetics, like always try and just move away from it because everything in life is what you can control and not what you and
yeah,
not worrying about what you can't control. Like if you want good recovery, sleep better and for longer, and hit your macro goals. Who cares if the guy next to you can recover better because genetically he's more fit for it? Like, how
yeah,
does that help you? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way because it's just like you can't change that. You can only worry about what you can control. So who knows? But who really
yeah.
cares?
I think it does have a role. For example, we all know people who can get like 4 or 5 hours sleep and they operate fine. Like they
Yeah.
have no issues at all. Like for example, Andy, my training partner, he gets like 4 hours sleep a night, 5 hours
Mm,
max, and he comes in the gym and trains and he recovers fine. Um, but could his recovery be better if maybe he had better sleep,
yeah.
better quality sleep and quantity as well? So yeah, it's one of them. It obviously does play a role. Genetics is a massive part of bodybuilding, but I wouldn't say I'm not recovering well because of my genetics. I would look into your
Yeah.
sleeping pattern, your
100%.
routine, and
100%.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It definitely plays a role, but you can only optimize what you have, right? So
Exactly.
you're not going to have bad recovery just because of your genetics. You can still have good recovery,
Yeah.
maybe
If
not
you
as
have
good as
bad
someone
recovery,
else's,
I'd say
but
your training's trash or your
yeah,
recovery is just trash.
there's
Like
something.
Yeah,
something's shit. Something's
it's
not right
something
there.
you can control to make it better.
Yeah. Got another question from Harry Lacey. What a physique this guy's
Ah,
got.
Mm.
Joe,
Um,
obviously Joe.
how did you begin your coaching journey? How would you recommend someone to start? Now, obviously, we've kind of covered how we've all begun, but how would we recommend someone to start? So, Kris,
Yeah. So shout out to, I've never actually spoken to Harry, but he's got a great physique and he's quite young, I
yeah,
guess. So he's got massive, massive potential. Um, so what I'd recommend is one, not chasing money. I think people get into the game for the wrong reason. Like get into coaching because you feel like you can actually coach someone well and because you want to help people. And if you do that, in turn, you'll start to do what it takes to, improve your own knowledge, learn how to actually coach people. Like, because it isn't as easy as just giving someone a plan. And you spoke about this, like everyone's
Yeah,
different. Like, and you spoke about it as well, Max. Like Rufus, for example, I'll be like, Rufus, you need to get this done. He'll get it done. If I said that to other people, they'd
yeah,
have a meltdown,
yeah,
right? So there's so much that goes into it, but initially get into it for the right reasons. And I honestly would stay to this day still like coach people for free, like coach your friends for free, learn how to coach, learn how to overcome obstacles, get some transformations, um, and then slowly transition into it. Like you've got a great physique, mate. You clearly know what you're doing. But yeah, just don't chase it as a career too early on. Like I first started coaching for free and for people because I loved it, and then you slowly trend up. I didn't just think, fucking hell, I can earn a quick quid out of these people. Like that's the furthest from it. Like
yeah,
even to this day, like I don't want to just take someone's money for no reason. I genuinely mean that. Like that's not me. So
waste of
yeah,
time,
just
isn't it?
yeah, mate. There's nothing worse, than going on a check-in and thinking I've got nothing to say on this check-in again.
Yeah,
But the
literally.
geezer's paying, so I'm gonna have to just talk shit for 10 minutes. Like genuinely, like, and that's just being completely honest. Like, I literally cannot stand it. I look at the screen thinking, what the fuck am I gonna say? You haven't stuck to your diet again because you've got this excuse or that excuse. And I'm not unreasonable. Like, things do go on. People are
yeah,
never going to be 100%. I don't even expect people to be 100%. But like, you have to find some middle ground to move forward if you want to get some kind of result. And
yeah,
some people just are not willing to change anything ever. And you think, what do you want me to do? I'd
You're
rather not
just
be
spinning
working
the
with you, you
wheels,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, yeah.
Yeah. Denny, what's your advice then to someone who's wanting to start coaching?
Educate yourself more. There's always more you can learn. It's something that I kind of pride myself on a little bit, is just trying to improve my knowledge, even if it doesn't translate into your clients. For example, there are some clients that don't need to know the ins and outs of training, some that don't need to know the ins and outs of nutrition, whatever it is. But if you know it, you've got that under your belt to then provide it. But again, there's more to coaching than just the plan. Obviously, you said, Chris, it's not necessarily about the plan you give them, it's about everything. For example, every plan works. It's about how you talk to them. So, depending on what your job is or what you're currently doing, if you're in a customer facing role, that will help you be able to actually talk to people, because a lot of what coaching is actually communicating or trying to get the person to communicate back to you.
Yeah.
So if you can communicate well to other people and open up, that will definitely help.
Yeah. I'd also say as well is just be coached yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be shown the ropes on something, like you go to a building site, you go with the other builders, right? And you learn off them. Like, if you be
Yeah.
coached yourself, and if you're planning to coach competitors, obviously you need to compete before and stuff like that, like gain experience within that kind of field. Um, but yeah, if you want to coach lifestyle people, then you know be coached yourself and be coachable, because you need to know how that feels. Like, if you can't follow a plan that's set by your coach, you shouldn't really be giving other people plans, because at the end of the day you can't adhere. So how are you going to expect other people to adhere? So always remember, coaching's about leading from the front. Denny, I think you nailed it with education as well. Always improve your knowledge. Always understand that the industry will evolve, and you need to be kept up to date with that. And also, just yeah, like Kris said, just start, but start small. Like, don't start for, oh, this needs to be a business and I need to make X per month or X per year. Like, start and just enjoy it and enjoy helping people, and then you will grow a passion for that. And then people will see that, like people will buy into you because you have a passion for helping people, not because you have a passion for making money.
Yeah.
And obviously the money will just come as a byproduct from that. Um,
Yeah, one other thing that I want to quickly add, like you guys saying about, is like, one, yeah, definitely be coached. Like, if or have been coached before, if you've been coached, you understand how coach talks to you, you understand how coach does their check-in, you understand how they send their training plans, just that, and you don't have to copy them, but you can take something from there. Like, if you've never done any of that before, it's going to be hard learning how to do that all yourself.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, a lot of people have a very vague knowledge because they have been coached and the coach has told them to do something and they know it works. So they'll be like, I just tell my clients to do that. That's not how it works. Like,
Got to tell them.
know what you're doing and why. Like, if a client asks me a question, I'm going to be able to explain to them what we're doing and why we're doing it, not because someone else has told, like, given me to me and I just know it works. This
Yeah.
is why we're doing it, because this is what you get from it, and this is X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have had people speak to me before. I'm thinking about coaching and this and that, like the ins and outs, or they've sent a potential client a plan. They've asked me about it, and okay, why have you done this and that? And they're like, oh, well, that's what you told me to do. And I'm like,
Yeah. Like, understand what you're doing and
like,
why.
like, say, like, cereal post workout. Everyone's on that trend.
Yeah.
Why are you actually having cereal post workout then? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Oh, well, because everyone
Yeah.
does. Well, that's not really it, man. Like,
Yeah.
actually know you really know, not just you know because other people know, right?
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
I love cereal post workout, by the way.
Yeah, I fucking yeah, yeah. You can't go
um,
wrong, mate.
but no, that was good. That was a good question. I like that. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, just always. Another thing I will just add on to that is, don't be scared to start, and don't be scared of people's opinions as well, and don't let that hold you back.
And
Um,
don't be scared not to be perfect. Like, you will
yeah,
not know everything. I'm not sitting there saying I know everything. If a client asks me a question I don't know, it's fine not to
You'll
know.
find out. Yeah.
But that's why I'm also coached by Joe Brightman, who will probably know. And if he didn't
yeah,
know,
He's
the
gonna
guys
ask
that
you.
he's been coached by will certainly fucking know, because they're
Yeah.
the top of the top, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how many times you guys had a client, they've come to you with a health issue, and you've had to like research this health issue and program around it or make their plan around it, because we're not doctors at the end of the day.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to just work around it. I got another question from James Linford. How important is it for Kris to have a strong friendship support group for each other through life?
Yeah, so I want to have genuinely a massive shout out to all of my close boys, Elliot, David, James, Rufus, um, throughout prep, like for allowing the dream to come true. Like the boys all recorded it all. They were there when I was probably a little bit miserable. They spent their own money to come to the shows, drive up to them, Airbnbs. Me and Rufus left the Airbnbs a shithole most of the time, and they tidied it up. Like, and I appreciate that more than they can imagine. And without them, it would have been really really hard. So the circle is so important. Like just through understanding as well. Like if you're on prep, I think Denny spoke about that. Honestly, maybe try not to be a robot, go out and socialize. But if you're going out to socialize with people that don't genuinely care and understand, it's going to be hard. They're going to be like, oh, this won't hurt, one won't hurt, this won't hurt. And it will rub off, like it will rub off, and it's going to make it hard. So having good friends that understand is going to make the process a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable as well, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Your circle is so important.
Yeah.
And I think having a good amount of support around you is super, super important for the process, especially when it comes to prep. But yeah, that is so frustrating, isn't it? When people are like, "Oh, just have one, like have this, have that," and it's like, "No, I can't."
Yeah.
And then
Am
you
I
bring
quickly
your,
all right
your
to run
meals
for a
with you.
piss?
Yeah, go
I'll
for it,
literally
mate.
2 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
no worries.
Go for it.
I'm worse than Denny, mate.
Honestly, I've got a bladder of like a
You
3-year-old.
guys and your bladders. I'm carrying this
Oh, what? I need to
podcast.
take these out. Otherwise, I'm going to be.
Yeah, we
pissing
don't want to
all
hear
over
you
it.
piss, mate. um, Kris is
Where are we at?
recording. We'll
We're
come
at
to the intro and all that.
56 whole minutes. Flown by.
Yeah, I know.
Episode 3 already as well. I don't know about you, but I'd say it's been, in terms of the response that we've got and just people engaging, it's quite nice. So
Yeah,
shout
sure.
out everyone who's liked, commented, subscribed, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. One thing we do want to say, which we were going to do when we opened our monsters, but Kris was talking, so we didn't want to interrupt. What's your favourite monster? We're having this discussion prior to the podcast. Denny's is white, mine's white, but I got a mango today. But please comment your favourite monster on the podcast. Have we got any more questions, Denny? We'll round it up with one more.
I do, but we've kind of covered them anyway. So
Yeah, it's been a good podcast. It's been obviously it's our first one with a guest.
yeah.
We need to ask our guests about their bladders before they come on the podcast, I think. Because
What
I've
is that,
got a
me?
host who's got a bladder of a 5-year-old.
We'll both be off it. It'll just be you again.
Yeah, we just
You have to
at
carry
some
it.
point everyone will leave and it'd just be me waffling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where are we
What you got on
That's
today, mate?
I'm gonna train after this big pull session. See
Nice.
how deadlifts go. A little bit of work, a couple of calls. That's about it for today. What about you?
Not much rest day. Got some like
Another
physio.
rest day.
Another rest day, bro. Got some
Come
physio
on.
work for my lower back, which I'm looking forward to. I need
Yeah.
it because my lower back is absolute
In the bin.
shambles. It's like
Wait.
I was RDLing yesterday, and it's just I can't even go above like 140 at the moment because it's like glass my lower back. So
Oh shit.
yeah, the frustrating thing is I can literally do everything else. Like nothing else pisses off my back. It's just doing a hip hinge. So I've got some physio on it today, so hopefully that'll help out.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Anyway,
Have you
Kris,
got
we're
any
rounding up
questions?
to an hour, mate,
Yes.
so we won't hold on to your time for too much longer. Just a quick shout out to you. Where can people find you? I believe you've got YouTube as well. So just give a shout out to yourself, mate, and let people know where they can follow your content and stuff.
Yeah, so I can't even remember the YouTube username, so that's no good. But maybe we can link
We'll
it in the
link
bottom
it
or
below.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keen to push on with YouTube. I'm not trying to become a YouTube legend, but I do enjoy sharing my journey. So that's the main reason for that. Instagram's just Kris with a K, CC underscore. Um, and I believe the same for TikTok. I've been a bit pants of TikTok, but I'm trying to get back on it. But the main place is Instagram and YouTube. And I just want to add as well on that last question when you guys said about the circle. I also want to thank everyone that was supportive because there was plenty of people that came to your shows, and I haven't forgot about any of you that came to my shows. I haven't forgot any about any of you either, and just people in general like that've gone out their way. So thank you to all you guys as well. It's not forgotten. But yeah, that is where you find me, and I appreciate you boys having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Pleasure.
My pleasure, mate. We'll get you on
I'm,
again at some time. Maybe when later on in the year when you've got more clients competing and stuff, and we can maybe have a
yeah,
chat.
sure.
Because no doubt Denny's going to be in the bin in about 5 months, and I'm going to have
Yeah,
to
you
carry the
might,
podcast
I'll
even
be in a
more.
bit on Monday.
you might hit someone.
One day into prep, and he'll be in the bin.
Yeah,
I'll
but
take some of your anti-bitch tablets, Chris.
yeah, 100%, or some cunty bikes. If I'm allowed to say that, hopefully. No, but thank you for having me on, and credit to you two for doing this. Actually, it's something that, like you said, it's missing from the gym. It's something that I think a few people that would have liked to kind of kickstart. So well done for you guys for
Yeah.
doing that.
I'm
Cheers,
hoping it
bro.
kind of helps pull a lot of people together in the gym.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I'd love to come on as much as you guys want me. So appreciate it.
I do think it's good because there's a lot of like, obviously we're all coaches, and people probably look at us as competitors within the industry. But to actually show that we're all human and we are playing the same game, and we're all mates at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Like,
far from robots, mate. Far
yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.